It is 31 minutes past the hour. Welcome back to Sunday Live here on Citizen Television. On to our ongoing series, RUTO in 1 year. Now, agriculture and the cost of living, food rather, define the challenges of President William Ruto's first year in office.
Oh, to stimulate farming and food production, President Ruto's administration rolled out subsidies and injected billions of shillings to distribute millions of bags of fertilizer at discounted prices to maize farmers. And as he clocks the first year, all eyes are on the farms where the first harvest linked to subsidized fertilizer is just about to be realized. Ben Kirui is on the Agriculture Watch in RUTO in a Year.
Cherangani, Trans Nzoia County is regarded the country's food basket. This is the bastion of maize farming, Kenya's staple crop. Farmers here benefited from government's fertilizer subsidy promised by President William Ruto upon assuming office a year ago. The prices of fertilizer that used to retail at 6,500 shillings were slashed by half to the relief of farmers.
Tulipata mbolea kwa wakati mzuri kabisa, ila kulikuwa na hinges kidogo, lakini ilirudi wakaimprove baadaye.
Waweke 100% subsidy ya mbolea only for a start. Then in the next 2 years, inji itakuwa mzuri. Na mbolea mahindi utapata mahindi mingi sana.
Ningependa hata kupongeza hii serikali sababu kweli tumehangaika kwa miaka mingi kwa maneno ya mambolea, lakini vile serikali ilisema itapunguza bei hata hatukuwa tunaamini kwa sababu tulikuwa nadhani ni kusema tu, lakini tumeona wamesema na wametenda. Na vile tumeona ni ukweli kabisa, mwaka huu tukiendelea hivyo mazao tutakuwa na mengi sana sababu tuliweza kuweka mbolea ya kutosha na mvua tukapata tu kwa kiwango cha wastani.
Mwangi says the government's fertilizer subsidy will be a factor in this year's harvest.
Unajua wezi ukahesabu mayai yenye iko kama ijaanguliwa, si lazima yaanguliwe kwanza. Lakini kama mwaka jana ilikuwa imepanda kiasi kama ya eka 10, mwaka hii nimeweka kama hiyo, lakini nimeongeza kama 5 kama 15. Kwa hivyo natarajia mazao mazuri kuliko mwaka jana.
President William Ruto in his inauguration speech directed that 1.4 million bags of fertilizer be availed to farmers at a maximum subsidized price of 3,500 shillings per 50 kilogram bag, down from 6,500 shillings as part of the government's interventions to address the high cost of living.
Our strategy to bring down the cost of living is predicated on empowering producers. The forecast for maize harvest this year is below 30 million bags against a normal production of 40 million bags. Main cause of the decline in production is the high cost of farm inputs. Our priority intervention, therefore, is to make fertilizer, good quality seed, and other agricultural inputs affordable and available. For the short rains, we have already made arrangements to make 1.4 million bags of fertilizer available at Kenya shillings 3,500 for a 50 kilogram bag, down from the current 6,500.
6 days later, the subsidized fertilizer was availed at National Cereals and Produce Board depots and sub-depots countrywide. The prices of fertilizer will later drop by 1,000 shillings when the president launched the second phase of the fertilizer subsidy program in August 2023. The move boosted farmers' produce during the short rains. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mithika Linturi says that over 60 million bags of maize are expected to be harvested countrywide this year following the subsidy program.
What we have done is to ensure that the government has put money to subsidize production against consumption. So even when you try to compare and see the impact of this intervention, you find that right now we are expecting to harvest over 45 to 60 million bags. So in fact we'll hit above 60 when we look at the harvest of the short long range harvest and the short range harvest fertilizer, which we are currently distributing and selling at 2,500.
Another pledge was about resuscitating the tea and coffee sector, with President Ruto assigning Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua to lead the overhauling of the coffee sector.
Coffee is a cash crop that hands this country a lot of foreign exchange. The coffee industry has continued, has really been on its knees for a long time. When in those 1986 we used to produce around 200,000 metric tons, the current coffee production is around 34,000 metric tons. The coffee reforms that we are trying to come up with is to address number one, the issues that affect our farmers so that they're able to produce more coffee. And with increased coffee production, we will be able to get more money to the farmers. When we bring out reforms that will be able to see farmers do proper crop husbandry, we will be able to produce more quality coffee. Meaning, more quality coffee means more money per kilo of coffee. So the coffee reforms that we are talking about are geared to ensuring that the management of the whole coffee sector or coffee space is done in a way that translates or gives quite some good return to the farmers. And of course, when we are looking at this, we are looking at different ways because there are legislative, there are administrative, and policy frameworks that must be put in place to ensure there is adequate framework under which to run this sector.
I have very clear and equivocal instructions from President William Ruto that we must sort out the coffee subsector and restore the dignity of the Kenyan farmer. And me, I'm a very obedient deputy, so I'm under instructions. So ile mtu atasimama kwa barabara yangu nitapita na yeye.
But the reforms initiated are yet to stem the frustration of farmers in the coffee and tea growing Mount Kenya region. Early this month, coffee farmers in Mathioya in Murang'a County uprooted their coffee trees protesting poor market returns.
Hakuna kitu ambao tunaona kama iko kwa usawa. Tunaona tu ni giza, kila pahali ni giza. Hata kuwa tuseme kwa fertilizer au kusema kwa hiyo dawa. Ni giza juu hakuna mtu yote unalia, hata ukilia hakuna mtu anaweza sikiza wewe.
Serikali yetu tunaamini, tunaipenda, iangalie kama sharia ili tupate kitu tuweke kwa mfuko. Ikiwa si hivyo, kahawa tunang'oa na tunaanza kung'oa na tutaendelea kung'oa.
Revival of Galana Kulalu irrigation project was also on President William Ruto's to-do list in January. President Ruto ordered its revival as part of his government's food security plan. The project, located along Kilifi and Tana River border, has started attracting private investors through a public-private partnership model.
I want to actually commend and thank His Excellency the President, because when we came with him here, he challenged me and told me that the least we can do, I'm sure we can manage some farming, some irrigation here, because we had water, the infrastructure was there. The 7.2 billion shillings Galana Kulalu Food Security Project, which covers 1.75 million acres of land, was launched by the government 7 years ago, but stalled before the Kenya Kwanza pledged to give it another try. Ben Kirui, Citizen TV, Nairobi.